An NFL player got cut for posting a meme? That's what happened to former first-round pick Jalen Reagor, who tweeted the old classic meme of a Bugatti in a Florida carport and was immediately cut from the Patriots practice squad. But have there been other players who have done crazy or stupid shit and suddenly found themselves available to the industry? Of course there has, and some of the reasons are insane and outright hilarious. Let's find them out right after this. Week 3 has arrived, and for many of us, our team season is already over. But football is still being played, and you can enjoy it by winning real money. I am so excited to announce I have partnered with Underdog Fantasy, the best app to play fantasy games. And right now, you get another CeeDee Lamb free pick and also get a first-time bonus up to $1,000 by using my code 5points at UnderdogFantasy.com. Let me show you how Pick'em works. In my opinion, the easiest way to play and win. You simply pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they will go higher or lower. And if you go 5 for 5, you can win 20 times your money. Look at this. With the CeeDee Lamb free pick, I can turn $25 into $135. Let's go. So after this video, head to UnderdogFantasy.com and use my promo code 5points or hit the link below and get started right away. Again, you can support this channel and my content by heading over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code 5points to get your free CeeDee Lamb play and first-time deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Randy Moss is a Hall of Famer, a human cheat code, and an all-time Minnesota Viking. But his second stint ended in Minneapolis because he didn't like the team's food? The year is 2010, and Randy Moss is experiencing a sharp decline in his production. After being cut by the Patriots, Moss was reacquired by the Vikings, and he played in 4 games, putting up okay numbers. But after a practice in early November, Moss was highly critical of the team's food?
Have some more sloppy joes.
Randy was openly dissatisfied with the team's post-practice meal and allegedly yelled, "What the fuck? Who ordered this crap? I wouldn't feed this to my dog." Tanucci's, the caterer who served the meal, took exception to Moss's criticism, as, most dogs will eat their own shit. Then Vikings head coach Brad Childress didn't like the outburst either, as Moss was placed on waivers just hours after the incident. I don't know what's more cringe, getting cut for not liking food or Brad Childress's stint as head coach of the Vikings. That experience might have left a bad taste in Randy Moss's mouth, but this next guy was the opposite. In 2021, the New York Giants signed former Carolina Panther and Buffalo Bill Kelvin Benjamin in the hopes that he could be a big target for Danny Derps and the offense. Instead, he became a very large target for fat jokes. By channeling the spirit of Jeanette McCurdy's mom, then head coach Joe Judge insisted that Benjamin drop his weight down to 250 pounds at the start of training camp. He was 265 at the time of the request.
He's probably a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end.
Benjamin clearly loved donuts more than football, and he came in at 268 pounds, and this incensed Judge. At the time, many saw then new coach Judge in the right, as maybe Kelvin could have shedded a few more pounds, you know. Benjamin also had a history of weight problems, like in 2017 when he was caught eating ribs on the sidelines of a Panthers game. That's fucking hilarious. Judge and Benjamin had an argument, and Kelvin was cut for being too fat. So much irony incoming. Benjamin was highly critical of Judge, calling him a know-it-all, criticizing his use of foul language, and saying he'd never win a Super Bowl. A few months later, now weighing 305 pounds, Benjamin was arrested in a North Carolina Golden Corral for stealing food off of other people's plates. I guess he was both perceptive in his head coach and really did love food. Ironically, Joe Judge would be fired later for being a fucking idiot and immediately held a pizza party at his house, which I'm sure Benjamin would have loved to attend. But this next guy got cut for being too in shape. Allan Page may be one of the most unsung legends on and off the gridiron. The former Vikings and Bears defensive tackle wasn't just an absolute beast on the football field, but his life after his NFL career might even be more remarkable. Before he received all his flowers, he was cut by the Minnesota Vikings for being too in shape. After 8 years of wreaking havoc in the middle with the Vikings' purple people eater defense, Page got really into running. Like Forrest Gump level into it, completing 7 marathons and an ultra marathon, which is like running nonstop for 62 fucking miles or some shit. Voluntarily. The running resulted in Page's weight loss. Instead of playing at 250 pounds, Page slimmed down to 225 pounds. Vikings head coach Bud Grant was not happy with this, and when Page told Grant he intended to stay at 225, the coach put him on waivers. Allan Page would play 3 more years with the Bears, and his post-NFL life is so remarkable, it could be its own video. He became a broadcaster, earned his law degree, was inducted to both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fames, became a judge who was elected to the Minnesota Supreme Court, received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, has written 4 children's books, and has been lauded all around as an amazing guy and equal rights advocate. So if Allan Page wants to run marathons, you should probably let him. And if he cared too much, this next guy cared too little. Jonas Gray was on his way to becoming one of the best stories in all of football. Undrafted out of college, he spent 2 years on practice squads before injuries elevated him to the Patriots roster. And on November 16, 2014, he made the most of his opportunities, rushing for 201 yards and scoring an Al Bundy level 4 TDs in a 42-20 victory over the Colts.
4 touchdowns. And I'm not talking the whole year. 1 game.
And then he committed the cardinal sin of the Belichick-era Patriots. He showed up late to practice the following week and was immediately benched. Now, it could have been a coincidence, or he really was just a fluke, but his playing time diminished after that, and he would only record 91 yards the remainder of the season. He was inactive for Super Bowl 49, which we all remember. Also, the Pats had LeGarrette Blount, who was a 3rd down beast and just simply better than Jonas Gray. Gray would be released at the end of the season and never played a down in the NFL again. He might have pissed his career away figuratively, but this next guy pissed it away literally. Yo, what is it with the Vikings and weird reasons to get cut? Ontario Smith was a running back with the Minnesota Vikings from 2003 to 2005, and after 2 decent seasons where he rushed for a total of 1,123 yards and 7 TDs, his career would come to a bizarre end. While traveling during the offseason, Smith was detained at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport for being in possession of a mysterious device, a Whizzinator, which is basically a false penis used to beat drug tests. They also found vials of dried urine samples in his luggage. So let me get this straight. TSA scanned his bag, saw a and the rubber was the main threat to our national security. Smith, who had already failed 2 tests for weed, was either using the old Whizzinator to escape testing for PEDs, weed, or both. Duh. Ontario would be suspended for the next year and then was cut after that, never playing in the NFL again. Stay golden, Mr. Smith. Before we get to our number 1, quick shout out to RG3, who allegedly got fired from ESPN for making this post in response to Paul Feinbaum. I don't get it. Or was it the croissant meme? I think it was budget cuts, but hey. And finally, the most hilarious story of a player getting cut for a crazy reason. Hey yo, we all out here trying to get that nut. But back in 2016, former Rams wideout Dion Long took it to the next level. On the debut episode of Hard Knocks, Jeff Fisher announced he would be cutting Long for sneaking a woman into training camp and trying to give her something long. He also said the team had too much talent to go 7-9. They went 4-12. But Dion Long is not who this story is about. Plot twist. After 4 years passed, we entered into the most bizarre time of our lives, the pandemic. And as lockdowns and ever-changing protocols became the daily norm, Seahawks DB Kima Sivaran decided to take a page from Dion Long's playbook. Sivaran was caught in 4K after trying to sneak a woman into his hotel room, where he allegedly had her dress up in Seattle Seahawks gear to avoid detection. I'm hoping that she was wearing full pads. Like that's the only way that it could work, right? Which obviously did not work, as the security footage revealed Mans trying to get his, but also violating major C-19 protocols. Sivaran, who was an undrafted free agent, was cut immediately and never played in the NFL. Man, I hope clapping them cheeks was worth it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and don't forget to go to Underdog and use my code 5points to get a first-time deposit match of up to $1,000. It would really help this channel and keep me producing more and more content. Love y'all. Thank you, and please subscribe.